So a few days ago, our results came out in school. I opened it and I was very, very shocked. Reason being, I thought this semester was going to be my best one yet. In fact, I thought it was semester I was going to finally get a 5.0. And then I opened it and I saw a 4.42. And in that moment, I immediately realized that my final year just got more complicated. If you're new here, my name is Tiga, I'm 22 years old, and I'm documenting my journey to living an intentional life. I currently have exactly 116 days before I'm done with school, and I have two goals that I must hit, like I absolutely must hit these two goals. And the first is graduating with a first class, and then the second is being financially independent before I leave school. And before the results came out, I was genuinely hoping that it was going to be really high so that I could spend a lot of my time focusing on the second goal especially, and then on impact, speaking, just helping as much people on campus. So now, before the results came out, the reason why I wanted to get like a really high GPA was so, of course, it can boost my CGPA, but then so that I can spend a lot of my time impacting people in my final semester. So, I mean, speaking engagements, having conversations with people, discipling, teaching, like just doing these things to make sure that like I leave an indelible mark on the hearts of people before I leave. But now with the way things are going, it's like I have to put a lot more effort and spend a lot more time focusing on school, meaning that there might be a reduction in time that I spend doing these things. So I don't know, man. But let's even talk about the result. So I saw the result and I was very shocked. I thought I was going to get all A's. And the reason was because the exam was easy. Like I didn't write any exam, and at the end I was thinking like, oh, I could have done this thing better. Like, of course there are always room for improvements, but then like they were really good. Do you get? Then I started to look at it course by course and then analyze it, and I realized that for one of the courses, our lecturer paid more attention to the attendance, right? To the attendance and to the assignment. And he has a rule, like if you don't come for class, you can't submit your assignment in the following class. So I missed 4 of his classes, and it just made sense. Like, okay, maybe that was probably why I got like a B, like a 65. So, that was that. But then the one that really drew my result down was a C. I got a C, I got a 51, right? And when I saw it, I immediately knew that one was a mistake. Like, it wasn't even possible because like 51 is crazy, especially for a course that was really simple. And my C was like 24, 25. Do you get? So I knew there was a mistake. So when I got to my hostel that day, I started to ask people around, and I found out that like it was a common problem. Like, okay, at least thank God it's not in my head, because I really don't like the thing where people like see their result and say this cannot be my result. Like, nah, I don't like, I just accept it. But this one was too low for me to didn't make sense. So I eventually, myself and a friend went to go and meet the lecturer of the course the following day in the morning. And then as we got into his office, the first question he asked was, what level are you in? I said, 400 level. He then said, is this the course you came to complain about? I said, yes, sir. He then said that, oh, it's a general issue and that he's heard about it and he's already working on it. So I eventually went to meet another one of my lecturers to find out that, if it's actually a general issue and if he's going to work on it, and then improve that. And he said, yeah, like that's what's going to happen. One of the things that was frustrating is that this second time these things happened to me. Of course, the last time it happened, which was last semester, the result was corrected, so thank God, right? But then in my head, like, why is it always me? But then that gave me more relief, because when I saw my result, like I said, my GPA was a 4.42, but my CGPA was now a 4.51. So it means that if we moved from like a 4.54, 4.55 to like a 4.51, which is like, I mean, if I go with 5.0, that would be like 4.6 something, and that would give me a lot of breathing room. So after like doing the calculations, I think I should get an A in the course. Like, I think maybe they missed my C or something. But if I get a B in the course, then the GPA moves from 4.42 to a first class GPA basically. But my CGPA goes to a 4.54, which is much better. But if the grade is actually an A, my CGPA moves to a 4.56, which, is much better, because like it's very difficult for CGPAs to like drop rise in your final semester, except you do horribly bad, right? So, but like I said earlier, going into my final semester, I already had plans on the things that I wanted to do. And if I was to sum it up, it was impact. Like, I just want to give myself, I want to spend myself for people, because I'm building a business, and I'm not even talking about that. I'm not talking about getting people to join my private community, or to buy my product. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying just impact, right? Helping people live better lives, more intentional lives, be more productive in the things that they're doing, right? Like, that's the goal. But I don't know, I have to put a lot more effort into my academics. So here are some of the things that I'm currently making an adjustment towards. The first one is attending a lot of my classes. Like I'm talking about 80 to 90%. Primarily because I didn't think, like, I mean, I've been doing this for a while. Like, I don't know if to be saying this publicly, but then I've lost interest in school since like I was in 200 level. So it's not like my first time not attending classes. And like this first time, it's just biting me in the back. And it's not even biting me in that, oh, they announced something in class and I didn't know, or he said something in class that, like, the exam was simple, but now, for this lecture, which I've never seen happen before, but I mean, apparently this time around, he put more emphasis on the attendance, which, like if I knew, like I would have just strived to attend all the classes and stuff, but that's an aside. So that's the first thing I'm doing. And then the second thing I'm doing is making sure that my tests are good. Like I said in the last video, so if you've not watched, I talk about like my goals for the next, couple days before I leave school. I mentioned that my test scores are always bad, so I always do well in the exams, but the test scores are always bad, right? So this time I plan to work on it because, there can't be any mistakes. Like I literally can't afford it. I remember going through, my bit and I saw I got 270s. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like this could have been way worse. So that's something I have to do. And that means that I have to actually read, for a while before we eventually have our tests. So yeah, those are the two things that I'm working on to make sure that like this time around, I can't fall back, man. I can't fall back. Because I was thinking to myself, like, there hasn't been any session where I've not been on a first class. So I've gotten some class GPAs before, but then 100 level, left that with a first class CGPA, 200 level, 300 level. So in my head, it would be really crazy if in my final year, everything just, I can't even think of that. So, I'm just trying to put all of these things in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. So now to the second goal and to my favorite goal, the one about business. There are a lot of things currently happening in school. I'm currently planning 2 conferences. I mentioned in the last video, I have about 6 speaking engagements in the month of March, and they're just, one of the conferences I'm planning is even happening next week. So these things are taking my time. Right, they're taking my time and there are commitments that I can't let go. Of course I have I delegate a lot, but then there are things that just need, my fingerprints, right? For the conference that we're planning next week, currently, at least at the point of making this video, by the time this video is going out, that will not be the case. But the point I'm making this video, we're not selling as much ticket sales and that's a lot because we have a target, and that target is going to help us do as much things that we want to do in the conference. So it's not just even occupying my time, it's also occupying mental bandwidth. Right, and this week, for example, I haven't been able to do so much, right? I haven't been able to do a lot of things just because I'm working on that. And, with building a business, especially with the kind of income level or revenue target that I want to hit, it takes a lot of action, right? It takes a lot of brainstorming and action. And of course, I'm going to tell you guys the route I want to take in building the business, probably in the next video, but then I haven't been able to do anything, man. I've been productive, but not productive in the things that are going to lead to my goal. And that's a problem. That's something I need to solve. And that's something I need to solve ASAP. So where I currently am, I'm trying to work on the business currently. Of course, there isn't any academic pressure. We resumed 2 weeks ago, so there aren't any tests currently. So that's the major goal that I'm focusing on right now. But then all of these other things on campus that are still taking up my time, at the point of making this video, I have a administration today, I have another one on Sunday, and then I have another one on Monday, right? That's already 3 back to back. Then I think I have another one next week. Then the conference is next week. I could just keep going on and on, man, right? There's so much to do in so little time. And then every day, the day is counting down. When I eventually made the countdown to when I was going to leave school, I didn't make it as necessarily a point of reminder. I made it because I was tired of school. I wanted to visually see something that would encourage me, oh, no matter how things are going, Tega, you only have this amount of days left. But now the days are reducing, and I just turn to my roommate sometimes. I'm like, oh my guy, hey, you only get 100 and something days left too. And that's pressure, man. And me, I like the pressure because I put the pressure on myself, to be able to hit these 2 goals. But what's life without a little pressure? Right. So whilst currently I haven't thought about the major things that I'm going to do to make sure that I'm able to achieve the goals. And what I mean by that is to not get distracted by the things that I'm doing on campus. I know that it has to do with managing my time, managing my resources, and just delegating someone that is crazy, right? And just being a little bit selfish with my time. I know it's saying 2 different things at once, saying, oh, I want to spend my time impacting people and just spending my life on people. But then, at the same time, I still have to work on it. So I just have to find a way. And it's something that I'm currently thinking about. So, as soon as I come up with something, I'll let you guys know what I'm working on to making sure that I eventually hit these 2 goals. At least have the time to build them. So this semester just became more complicated than I expected. But I guess that's what makes seasons like this interesting. Because if by mistake, oh my God, if by mistake I end up navigating this season of my life properly, then this can be the best semester of my entire life. See you in the next video.